I don't think Donald Trump knows what was in the Iran nuclear deal. I think he basically doesn't like the deal because he didn't negotiate it and Barack Obama did. And that is not a very good reason for a commander-in-chief to gamble with America's national security. I helped negotiate the Iran nuclear deal, and Donald Trump walking away from it was the worst mistake of his presidency so far. The nuclear deal was about a simple question: how do we stop Iran from getting a nuclear weapon, and how do we prevent a broader nuclear arms race in the Middle East? Well, we had an answer to that question. It was the nuclear deal. Donald Trump now has taken that away from us, and he has no answer, no means of achieving that outcome. You might be asking, why should we care if Iran gets a nuclear weapon? Well, there's a couple reasons. First, if Iran could hold the United States at risk by having a nuclear weapon they could put on a missile and launch here, this is a country that has its leaders repeatedly chanting death to America. So that's a concern. Second, if Iran gets a nuclear weapon, a whole bunch of other countries will get nuclear weapons as well. And then the chance that nuclear war breaks out goes way up. And the chance that nuclear weapons fall into the hands of terrorists goes up too. So the reason people should care so much about Donald Trump walking away from the Iran deal is because it makes war more likely in the Middle East. And the chance that Americans die in that war, the chance that we lose an enormous amount of blood and treasure in that war is very high. People have used different terms for Donald Trump's decision. They like to say, we're withdrawing, we're leaving, we're parting ways with the deal, all very neutral terms. But let's be honest about what's happening here. The United States is breaking its word to the international community, not just to Iran, but to all of the major world powers we negotiated this agreement with. You know, the Iran deal is just now one in a long line of examples of where Donald Trump is walking away from American leadership. He withdrew from the Paris Climate Agreement.
The United States will withdraw from the Paris Climate Accord.
He withdrew from the Trans-Pacific Partnership.
Great thing for the American worker, what we just did.
He basically said our allies and partners need to strike out on their own and can no longer count on the United States. For those who say this isn't a perfect agreement, of course they're right. No diplomatic agreement is perfect. That's what diplomacy is, it's compromise. So by definition, we aren't going to get everything that we wanted in a deal like this, but we got everything we need. Before Donald Trump walked away from the agreement this week, the deal was working. Iran was complying. They were fulfilling all of their terms. They had dismantled their centrifuges. They had removed their nuclear stockpile from the country. They had even poured cement in their plutonium reactor, and they were allowing all of the inspections and verification that had been authorized under the deal. Even though there are people who oppose this deal in good faith because they didn't like it, a lot of the folks around Donald Trump right now are the same people who advocated for the Iraq War and who to this day do not believe it was a mistake. That's pretty scary. The chance that war unfolds, maybe not tomorrow, maybe not next week, but in the coming months and years, is now much greater than it was before Donald Trump took this decision.